Hello, I'm Max. In today's report, we're using AI technology to bring you the latest news, though there may be occasional inaccuracies. Let's dive into our headlines. Democratic National Convention and protests. We begin in Chicago, where the Democratic National Convention is under strict security due to ongoing protests. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators breached an outer perimeter protesting U.S. support for Israel. This led to clashes with police and minor altercations, resulting in 13 arrests and logistical delays for attendees. Despite the unrest, local authorities, including Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, assured that the security measures effectively maintained order while respecting the protesters' rights. Escalating conflict in Gaza. Turning to Gaza, the situation grows increasingly dire as the Israeli-Hamas conflict intensifies. Recent airstrikes by Israel have resulted in significant civilian casualties, including at least 35 Palestinians killed in attacks on a marketplace and a school. The humanitarian crisis is severe, with the health sector on the brink of collapse due to shortages of fuel and medical supplies. Calls for a ceasefire are loud, with the UN demanding an immediate halt to the violence, but the conflict continues unabated. Diplomatic efforts and challenges. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on a mission in the Middle East to facilitate peace talks. Despite setbacks, including the cancellation of a meeting due to health issues of the Qatari emir, efforts persist. Blinken's discussions with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi aim to prevent regional conflict escalation. However, substantive disagreements between Israel and Hamas, especially over troop locations in Gaza, remain a challenge. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's conditions for a long-term military presence in Gaza further complicate negotiations. International oil supply and conflict dynamics. In related news, research highlights the role of international oil supplies in sustaining military actions in the region. Concerns have been raised about U.S. fuel supplies to Israel, especially after a January ICJ ruling aimed at preventing genocidal acts in Gaza. UN experts advocate for an embargo, cautioning that major oil corporations might face liability for complicity in war crimes. Despite international scrutiny, the Biden administration has continued military aid to Israel. Regional tensions and protests. The conflict's ripple effects are felt globally, including protests at the Democratic National Convention, where thousands of demonstrators called for a ceasefire and an end to arms supplies to Israel. These protests add to the international pressure on the Biden administration to find a resolution. Conclusion. The path to peace remains fraught with challenges as both diplomatic and military strategies unfold. However, hopes for a breakthrough in negotiations linger, with ongoing talks in Cairo and the involvement of key regional players like Egypt and Qatar. We will continue to monitor these developments closely. That's all for today's report. I'm Max, and thank you for joining us. Stay informed and take care.